Are you looking for your first new big boy bike, either 600cc range, or are you a little bit older and want to go back to when you were younger, when you first started riding? Well, for me, this is the era of the bike, the 600cc sports bike. This is the Honda CBR600RR for 2025. Oh, it brings back a lot of memories. Thing is my body going to conform to the shape of this bike anymore? Let's go and test it. Honestly, the answer's no. I'm too big. I'm too fat. Our first little stint is going to be around town, so we'll see how that handles in the town situation. But for reference, right now, I've put it into user 1 because I have set the parameters of user 1. We'll come into electronics in a bit. But in a nutshell, I've got power, high, traction control, low, W, maybe wheelie control, maybe. That's at 1, and engine braking. I've put that to 3. I did have that at 1, but even just a few hundred meters, I was finding when it was in 1, I'd stop accelerating and it would kind of throw me forward a bit too much. I didn't like that. I'm all for strong engine braking when I'm in the twisties, when I'm having fun, because I use a lot more engine braking than I do brakes. That's just my riding style. I'd rather bang it down a couple of gears before a corner, so then when I've coming to accelerate out, I've got the power, rather than hit the brakes, come out the corner, go to accelerate and be in the wrong gear. It is a very, very traditional sports bike riding position. I'm laying on the tank near enough. My knees are really tucked into the tank, foot pegs are really high. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm 6'1", 120 kilos. I'm not skinny. I'm not light. This is not a very comfortable riding position for me. Not only do I not have the height and size on my side, I also have a bad back, and my knees are not the best. So overall, this type of bike isn't necessarily what I would go for. Not going to stop me reviewing it. Second time I've hit the horn instead of the indicator, and it's the second time I've been indicating, so that tells me the horn's located in the wrong position and it's not my fault. Even in, let's call it sport mode, around town, actually it's really easy to ride. Throttle response is super nice and smooth, no jerkiness when you're starting to pull off. The good thing with smaller cc bikes is you can give it a fistful and you're not necessarily breaking the speed limit straight away. Whereas on a litre bike, if I was on the CBR600RR, first gear and that's it. That's all I need. Handling, it does flick from side to side very nicely. It is taking me back to the days when I owned a ZX636. Man, I used to be lighter and smaller and more flexible back in those days. Do we think this is almost the end of an era for small CC sports bikes? Are the people coming into the biking scene nowadays after the sports bikes, the 600s? We've got a lovely stock exhaust that goes under the seat. One thing the salesman did say is that because it goes past your right foot as it wraps around, in a hot summer day in like thinner boots, you're definitely going to feel the heat on your right foot. But I love the look of the underseat exhaust, and just listen to the sound. Oh yeah. Oh, nostalgia. Looking at the heart of this bike then, they've got a 600cc engine with 119 brake horsepower and only 63 newton meters of torque. It's got a fun factor, it's got the sound, it's got that kind of old school feel to it, but with a 63 newton meters of torque, it's not blisteringly fast. It's not got that low down grunt to get it in that fun factor in the early stage of the rev range. That's why for me, a lot of the naked bikes that have got higher torque, that's where the fun factor is, because they don't have the downright speed to it, whereas this is going to have more speed than the fun factor. My personal opinion, don't shoot me. We've got a quick shifter up and down, nice to have on a sports bike. And we've also got 5 different rider modes. We got mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, and then user 1 and user 2. Obviously, mode 1 and 3, the parameters are set, and then you can go in on user 1 and 2 and change your different parameters. Me personally, if I own this bike, I'd probably just set up user 1 and user 2 as sport and rain, and then just flick between those two when I needed. And then change the rider modes. It's just the mode button on the left hand side, and then you just flick up and down on the arrows. Pretty simple. Like this bike, there's nothing heavy tech orientated about it, but especially if you're buying this bike for the old kind of nostalgia feel of your sports bike days, you don't need or want a lot of tech. We've got a tiny TFT screen down there. You can go into the settings and you can mess about with some of the colours and the different screens, etc. And that's pretty much it. I think the way this thing looks is spot on. Obviously taking its looks from the CBR600RR and even from the top tier MotoGP line. I think they've done a really good job at kind of making it look like the big brother, so you don't feel like you're getting done over by getting a small baby brother bike. Honda have given you 2 different colour options. We've either got this kind of traditional Honda red with the blue stripes and that, or you get the black. Honestly, I don't know which one I'd pick. I like a blacked out bike, and that's got a few kind of subtle hints of red, but I also like your traditional Honda colours. So honestly, I don't think I could pick. There's a few different packs you can buy from Honda. Right now this bike has got the race pack on, and that's going to give you some wheel stripes, it's going to give you the tank pad protector, an oil cap cover, but more importantly for me is the rear seat cowl cover. Rear seat cowl gets rid of the passenger seat. And the other pack you can get for this is the comfort pack. That's going to give you a screen protector for your LCD screen. It's going to give you a rear seat bag, like a tail bag, heater grips, and a USB charger. Although there's not really anywhere to start putting things. This stem mount plug might come out, so you might have to get a stem mount holder if you want your phone or your sat nav or something on here. But yeah, because they're clip-ons, there's no bars to put anything on. But because you are so kind of bent over the tank in that traditional style, there's not really any pressure. There's not really any pressure on the seat, so actually my bum's all right. You can really squeeze the tank with your legs because they're just so pressed into the sides. I mean, you can have some serious fun on this. Although we do have a windscreen, obviously this is pretty much facing my chin, so I do expect some buffeting. Actually, back in the day we used to put double bubble screens to try and help out with that. It handles nicely. Well, I've managed to find somewhere to pull over to actually enjoy looking at this bike, because as I said, on the bike I personally think Honda have nailed the looks of this thing. It just looks sleek and mean. The headlights are really nice and tucked in underneath the front fairing. We've got the little winglets taken from the MotoGP bikes. Like, just overall, I love it. I love the vents, the seat cowl, the underneath exhaust. Honestly, like I said, this is just for me kind of prime nostalgia from when I first started riding. These are the type of bikes that I wanted to be on, and it would be a shame if they went, because like I said, I wonder what the new generation look for in bikes. Are they thinking that this is where they want to be? I'm interested. What do you guys think? So for 2025, this thing is going to set you back just under £11,000. Which the problem is, for me, think about the market that we're trying to hit. We're trying to hit, ideally, I assume, the new rider. Now, what new rider has 11 grand to spend on one of their first bikes? I'll put a price up of how much my ZX636 was brand new when it come out. What, 6-7 grand brand new probably? And we're expecting kids these days to be able to afford this, to get them into biking for the next 20, 30, 40 years. The bike feels really nice and light, no matter whether it's town riding or in the twisties, coming in at 193 kilos. And that is wet, even with an 18-litre fuel tank. We're gonna have plenty of miles. We're probably gonna wanna stop and rest our wrists first before needing to fill up. Looking at brakes and suspension then. Suspension, we've got a 41mm upside down forks at the front, fully adjustable, and we do have an adjustable rear shock as well. Brakes, we've got twin 310mm at the front and a single 220 at the rear. 220 is quite small, but again, bike's light, maybe it caveats. This bike has only done like 150 miles so far, so things are still kind of bedding in and finding their place. Brakes aren't particularly the sharpest, so it's something that I personally would probably look at upgrading if I was to buy this bike. Looking on the right hand side, this is the exhaust. Obviously it wraps from underneath there, past your right foot, and then into this underseat exhaust. I don't think the rear looks too bad with the number plate placed there. And lastly then to look at is the seat height. 820mm. Remember, 6 foot, both feet easily flat on the floor. Just means you can really control it, especially at traffic lights or anything like that, so this isn't going to get away from me. I wonder if getting a set of rear sets and potentially being able to lower them just to give yourself a little bit more movement, should I say, in the kind of knee, foot, knee, hip triangle, because it is quite strong, should put it that way. It is nice and narrow in between your legs though. The tank really does kind of come into your crotch, so if you are a smaller rider, not necessarily as tall, you will be able to get your feet down going forward. Some tanks or seats tend to push your hips kind of quite wide, which even then for a taller rider does sometimes make it quite difficult getting your feet down, but no problem with this bike. And to be honest, that's it. Like there's nothing really extra to this bike. There's no tech, there's no fancy bits and bobs to talk about. It's kind of a homage to the old school. Like, it's simple, it's effective, it does what you need. And that is to go and have a blast in the twisties on your sports bike. Looking good whilst doing it, and I'm not sure I'll particularly look good whilst riding this bike. But if you do want to jump on one of these, head on over to Branson's in Yeovil and you can jump on this exact CBR600RR. As always, thank you very much for lending me this bike. I wouldn't be able to do reviews like this if dealers didn't let me take the bikes out.